my name is Kelsey. I'm a genius here at United BMW, and it's a beautiful day to take a look at the M8 Competition coupe. The starting MSRP of the M8 Comp is a cool $146,000. The engine is a 4.4 liter V8 and the trans is an 8-speed Septronic automatic transmission. Has 617 horsepower, gets about 21 miles per gallon, and it is all-wheel drive with a rear-wheel drive capability. Does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and that same number goes for the Grand Coupe and the Vert as well. This is currently the most expensive M car that we have available. This comes standard with the BMW M Sport exhaust that is now modifiable with a button on the center console. Has adaptive M suspension and an active M differential. The front subframe and suspension arms are both made from aluminum. It also has a carbon fiber reinforced plastic roof that is styled in that traditional double bubble design. There are 3 wheel options available. All 3 are 20-inch M wheels. It comes standard with the BMW M compound ventilated brakes with dynamic brake control and cornering brake control. And it of course has the new integrated brake-by-wire system that's adjustable from inside. Still one of the first few cars to get it since it was first introduced on the M5. Coming around to the back here, we can see these wide hips and the heated side mirrors. Back here we have that little standard spoiler, and then of course coming down you can see that beautiful 3D design that BMW's been including. Of course our gigantic badge in here. This is the trunk size. It's pretty large comparatively for a coupe like this. Underneath here, it's mainly just a small storage space, so you have a tire pump if you need it, and then the classic BMW toolkit, which is the tow hook should you ever need it. This just fits in like that. And then over here, this is information about hands-free opening. We already have a video about. This is an access cover for technicians. I wouldn't worry about that. This is the emergency release latch for the trunk. It is an electronic trunk closing, so you have to push either button. You can pull it down if you forget, but over time it'll wear out that system. So you want to push either this to close it or this one to close and lock all 3 doors. So today we're just going to close. Okay, coming around to the inside, you can see this beautiful extended merino leather. This is secure orange, and then this is just our black. Looking at the driver's seat here, you can see this beautiful blue contrast stitching. This is the new diamond design stitching from BMW, and this is ventilated, so that's why it's perforated. And then this is our light up M8 headrest badge right there. So to get into the back seat, you're gonna pull this forward like that. The seat will move on its own to create enough space for a passenger to enter. When you're ready to put it back into position, just bring it back like that. The seat will automatically move just like that. So coming inside, let's see what a warm start sounds like. Starting here on the driver's door, we can see the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins sound system. This is not standard, it's a $3,400 upgrade, but it is well worth it if you're an audiophile. It has a diamond surround here on the inside. These are both illuminated as well. Same thing on the passenger side. So it's beautiful, beautiful sound, beautiful look, all around very much worth the money. Looking over here at our dash and our center console are a part of what BMW calls their new Live Cockpit Professional, which gives you navigation with iDrive 7 as seen here, and a 10.25-inch touchscreen and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. It's also what gives you your head-up display and your natural voice operation with your voice commands found under this button here. Some other standard features include remote engine start, the M seat belts, front and rear head protection system. Oh, no, that's not what it's saying. Okay. Some other standard features include the remote engine start, the rear view camera, what we call active guard, which gives you frontal collision warning and city collision mitigation standard, and those are found under here along with the rest of any safety upgrades that you may opt into. One thing I do want to make sure I point out is that even though the leather on the doors is a full extended merino, the leather on your dash is a Napa leather. Here in the center console, we can see our newly redesigned leather-wrapped M shifter. It's embossed with the M logo here, and we have our traditional colors stitched there. Your park button has been relocated up to this position, and this button, I forget what it's. Other unique features in the M8 Comp include, of course, your M menu here. So you can configure your M1 and M2 buttons the traditional way, which is making any of your adjustments regularly and then pressing and holding. Or what you can do, what's easier to do, is to come in here and select M1, and then you can go down the menu and decide how you want really anything to be. So what we find most of our guests prefer to do is make one their comfortable everyday driving settings, and then M2 their more aggressive sport settings. So you can adjust the brake feel from here. You can adjust whether you want it on the all-wheel drive or more of a rear-wheel drive focus. You can control whether or not your auto start stop is on or off, but of course, being that it is a 2020 vehicle, you will have to turn it back off every time you get into the car. And then you also have the option to control your exhaust sound from here. That way you don't have to push the button in the center. Under M menu, you also have this instrument panel option. So what you can do in here is just configure what you want to see here. So if you go to configure view, you can change how it looks. You can also make adjustments for when you have it in road, sport, or track modes. You can choose to have a converted speed that'll give you your kilometers per hour. You can also change what appears in the central display. And by that they mean this. So right now it's set to show you the map. If you were routing to a destination, you could choose route preview, and it would show you turn-by-turn directions. Or if you have more advanced driver's assistance packages, you can choose assisted driving view, and that will look like this, and you'll see this comes on. And what this does is, I don't know if you can see that, it'll look like this while you're on the road. So when there are cars around you, it'll pick them up and it'll do its best to track them. Same thing with motorcycles and larger trucks, and I think it does also differentiate with emergency response vehicles from the one that I've seen. Here under speed limit assistance, you can also set more preferences. This is still new technology for BMW, but essentially the goal is to have you set that system up, and then over here you can see it will adjust depending on the situation. So it'll use the navigation system to track whether or not there's a roundabout coming up or any kind of obstacles like that. It'll make suggestions based on the road ahead, and it will help maintain that speed limit as well. And so you can set it to adjust to your route to activate those. When you exceed your speed limit, you can choose to have it give you either of these warnings, or you can take them both out. We recommend leaving them on, but if you like speeding tickets, that's up to you. You can also choose where your infotainment lists show up, and that is this here. So we have it set to be in the head-up display. So you'll see that there, where you can scroll through your satellite or any radio information. If you have a phone connected through the iDrive system, you'll also see that available there. If you're in Apple CarPlay, this system might be reduced. Okay, quick switch to a new car because the other one sold, but we're going to take a look at these three buttons before we finish up here. These three are specific to M cars, and especially the track mode under this one is specific to the competition model. So if we push this, that's what allows you to toggle between road and sport. So road is everything in the vehicle operating as it should. If you select sport, driver's assistance systems are inactive and everything else is set to a sporty setting. Kind of like putting a standard car into Sport Plus, but a little bit more so. So we have different dash here, and then our head-up display, seen here on this 3 Series, is the M head-up display. And then, so from here, if you press and hold that M mode button, it'll give you the option to activate track mode. So you'll see this, you'll select this, and this will change again. So the biggest difference here, it's very bright. The biggest difference here is it'll give you the temperature and the PSI of all 4 tires after you've been driving around. It will let you know that all of your safety systems are deactivated, that we're in 4-wheel drive, and then it'll give you all of your driving specifics over there. It also deactivates your iDrive screen. So there's less distraction, there's nothing going on. If you have the radio playing, it'll turn that off too. It's also very important to remember that it is not legal or safe to use this on public roads. So, you know, track mode wisely. Push your M mode button again to bring your screen back up and go from there. If you have any questions about anything in here, if you want more information, you have an owner's manual option to select when you put it into sport mode, and it'll take you through some finer details about the differences between all 3 and how to use them. This setup button here is another way that you can adjust your M1 and M2 button. So when you hit setup, it brings you to this screen, and you can change anything this way. Make all your selections. When you're happy with whatever you have, press and hold the button that you want to adjust. You'll hear a confirmation, and then you'll see it in your dash right there where it says M2, and you're good to go. And you can change these as many times as you want, wherever you want. Just press and hold, and it'll bump out whatever was saved in there before. The newest thing on here that we mentioned earlier is this brake option right here. So this is the brake-by-wire system. You can choose comfort or sport. Essentially what this does is it changes the grabbing point of the brake, so it just makes it feel more aggressive when you're braking as opposed to the more comfortable setting that you would typically be stuck with. And then this does also have MX drive. So the way that you activate that, find your traction control button, you're going to press and hold for about 5 seconds. Your screen will change to let you know that it's off. Select configure, and then you can make your changes from there. Now this isn't full 2-wheel drive, it's still 4-wheel drive with a rear wheel drive bias. Say that 10 times fast. You can choose a 4-wheel drive sport, which is just reduced from this one, and then this is the most reduced, but they are still this one. This button here is the exhaust sound control button that I mentioned earlier. Basically what happens when you push this is it'll open or close the dampers depending on the position that you have it in and or whether or not the light's on. So if your neighbors complain or if you find that it's just a little bit too loud for you, you can push this to turn it off. So most of the systems that I mentioned today are specific to M cars, and they are newer or more confusing systems. If you have questions about things like Apple CarPlay, any more of these buttons in here, the drive recorder, climate control systems, backup camera, backup assistant, anything like that, we do have videos about those on the United BMW YouTube page, so be sure to check those out. That is absolutely everything that I know about the M8 Competition Coupe, Convertible, and Grand Coupe. If you have any other questions, please let us know.